Welcome to Xfinity Sports Extra. Off-season in the NFL. What? This is no off-season. This is where seasons are won or lost. Huge weekend for the Broncos, for Vance Joseph and John Elway. The NFL Combine in Indianapolis, and a huge week coming up. NFL free agency really starts on Tuesday. The only thing bigger than this is baby giraffes, or lack thereof. The road to the Super Bowl starts in March. And with me tonight, Denver 7 Broncos insider Troy Renck. And Troy, Super Bowl champs are built through the draft and free agency, right? And that's what's happening right now.
Yeah, unless that giraffe can play left tackle. That would help. We can merge perfectly here. Yeah, the Broncos, they will start on Tuesday of dressing. Look for them to go heavy after the offensive line, Lionel. They've got to figure out what they can do there. Probably more at guard than tackle. They're going to address the defensive line. And then the big question, Lionel, what are they going to do at quarterback? Because there is, not like with Peyton Manning, there will be a plan B. With Peyton Manning, all the chips were in the middle of the table. This time, Lionel, there is a plan B, a Romo plan and then a non-Romo plan. Yeah,
exactly. On offensive line, you just mentioned it. No doubt that's kind of job one for John Elway. Fix those big uglies up front. But you said it, the most important position on the team, Troy, is the quarterback. And the buzz, all about Tony Romo. If the Cowboys release him or if the Broncos want to make a trade to get him, Broncos are pretty much the universal favorite to get the 37-year-old quarterback. At the Combine this week, Troy talked to John about this. Here was Elway's response about adding a veteran quarterback, Tony Romo, maybe, to the roster.
Open to anything, you know, so, I mean, we'll always look at it. And you know, this is a time of year that, you know, you look at everything and we try to, you know, discuss everything, every possibility, what might be available, what might not be available, and talk about that and see how it affects us.
All right, anything and everything. And that means Tony Romo, in my opinion, if you read between the lines, Troy. Broncos will make a play for Tony if the price is right, though. Yeah, the salary is going to be the key here. When I was at the Combine, the buzz is everyone in the NFL believes the Broncos will be a big player for Romo when he's released. No one's going to trade for him, Lionel, at this point. It's going to be a release situation. So it may come down to like last year when Houston Texans and the Broncos bidding for a quarterback. Yeah. Last year was Osweiler. This year it could be Romo. If Romo will play for somewhere between 10 and a little bit over 12 million, they have a chance to get him. And that's Tony Romo saying, hey, he wants to be a Bronco. You know this, Lionel. John Elway really likes guys that want to be here. So if he gets that feeling from Romo that, hey, I want to be here, then they can try to make this happen. But they had every reason to close the door at the Combine, and they swung it wide open. You're right. You talked to Vance Joseph as well, one-on-one last week, Troy. And obviously, you asked him about Paxton Lynch, the first-round draft pick last year. But the biggest question on the roster will be, is Paxton mature enough, smart enough? Does he have it to go along with that physical ability? Here's what Vance said when you asked him, is Paxton ready to make that leap?
Is he ready? I'm not sure. But, you know, obviously he's got great skills. He's a tall man with a big arm. You know, is he ready? That's a tough question. You know, he had 2 starts last year. You know, Trevor played, you know, also. It's going to be an open competition, you know, and whoever wins the job, that's who's going to play. And that's fair as it can be.
All right, a tall man with a big arm, Troy. Doesn't sound like John or Vance believe Paxton or Trevor is ready to lead a team to the Super Bowl. Well, I think they're warming up to the idea of Trevor. That would be the plan B. There is no other free agent if they don't get Romo. But in Paxton Lynch's case, I'm surprised he hasn't spent the offseason in Denver. Trevor Siemian is rehabbing every day at the facility, Lionel. Yeah. You can't talk football with the coaches, but he's around. Even if you just you're around, you feel it, you're around the new coaching staff. Exactly. Lynch is in Orlando, and he's working with the quarterback coach. But if I were him, I would have been in Denver. And what they said, Vance Joseph's answer was telling that right now we don't think he's ready yet. Right. They don't, Trevor Siemian would be plan B. That would be plan B if it's not Romo. All right, we talked about the Combine. You were there. It's still going on in Indianapolis. And last week we saw the running backs do the underwear Olympics, as we call them, right? Yep. Running, catching, and skin-tight clothes. They had their tight pants on like Troy does tonight. He's got Combine pants up here. You just can't see him, which is good for you. All right, Colorado's own Christian McCaffrey, the former Valor star, didn't do anything to hurt his stock. 4.48 in the 40, top performer in the vertical jump, 3-cone drills, 20-yard shuttles, 60-yard shuttles. Running, catching, that's what he does. You want a running back? Check. Slot receiver? Check. Punt, kick, returner? Check. Most all-purpose yards in a single season? Check. That's what Christian went from Castle Pines North to Indianapolis to show the world. There's nothing he can't or won't do in the NFL.
Something I really pride myself on is not just being a running back, not just being a running back that can catch the ball, but, you know, if I move out to the slot, I become a receiver. If I move out to X or Z, I become a receiver, not just, a running back. So I really try to pride myself in route running, catching and being able to be a mismatch anywhere on the field.
All right, Troy, Christian McCaffrey, you heard the man. I can do it all. Triple threat, 3 players in one. Now, Denver 7's Woody Page is recovering at home tonight from back surgery, so get well soon, Woody. But he has a column on the denverchannel.com with the title, plain and simple, "The Broncos should draft Christian McCaffrey #1." Log on and read all about it. And, Troy, you've written about it as well on the denverchannel.com and talked about it, the case for Christian.
Well, the case, you mentioned it, is versatility. If you're going to take a running back in the first round for a team that has multiple other needs, he has to do more than one thing. Christian McCaffrey can do that. The issue, Lionel, is this. At number 20, it's a little bit of a reach. He would fit perfectly at the end of the first round, which is why when I was at the Combine, the buzz was around the Packers and around the Patriots.
I know.
Those are
New
teams
England.
he'd fit well for. The Broncos like Christian McCaffrey. Obviously, if he were around in the second round, they'd take him. But there's no way he's going to be around 20 picks into the second round. So, again, McCaffrey's value is in his versatility. Can he be a guy available at 20? Yeah, but I would think at that point, Broncos have to look D-line, O-line. But, again, depending on how free agency shakes out, they get those answered. Christian McCaffrey suddenly becomes a very valid selection at 20.
That's the beauty of this thing. You never know who's going to be there or who's not going to be there. Troy, the only thing that went wrong for Christian at the Combine was this. Obviously, no one at the Combine was a former Scripps National Spelling Bee champion. You thought those Oscars accountants messed things up. How about the guy that misspelled Christian's last name? I bet Ed went through this a lot. It's McCaffrey, not McCaffrey. So there you have it. All right. Left tackle, John Elway said last week, told you, hey, don't rule out Russell Okung just yet, right? Broncos would probably rather address this position in free agency and not the draft.
Well, here's the issue with Okung. The reason they're saying they might come back to him is the market is so thin. When you look at this market, it's Andrew Whitworth. That would be the guy, the ideal plan. But he's 35, Lionel. Well, they're not going to give him a 4-year deal. And I've been told by multiple sources the Broncos do not want to set the market on left tackles. They're willing to be patient and maybe have Okung come back to him, or maybe you get a guard and then you go get a right tackle who's played left tackle. But if they don't get Whitworth, and I don't see him setting the market for Whitworth. They love him, but that's where they start moving around, get maybe a guard and then a right tackle who can play both sides.
All right, if they were to pick a tackle in the draft, though, there's a man named Garrett Bowles, a 6'5", 297-pounder from Utah. He was a troubled teenager, but then found religion, got married, has a kid, says he's all grown up, very athletic, also mean and nasty on the field. Played 1 year at Utah, but he certainly has developed an attitude.
I'm on the field. I want to put people in the dirt, and that's what I'm here for. As an offensive lineman, you want to be the nasty prick that you can be. And I want, whoever's in front of me, I'm going to drive them and put them in the dirt. And so, I'm just going to try to be that every single day. And, when I come off the field, I love my family, and I just learn how to turn the switch and just go back to the new Garrett.
The new Garrett. All right, Troy, you talked to this guy at the Combine. Is he more of a project than a first-round pick at number 20?
Well, I thought he was raw, and I give Woody Page an apology here because he talked to Garrett Bowles.
Yeah, he did.
Bowles did his mission in Colorado Springs. It's an interesting story. Again, he's only played really 3 years of organized football. So is he a project? Yes, but he's such an athletic freak, Lionel. Guy ran a 4.95 in the 40. He's strong. He jumps. I mean, he's everything you want. But, again, I think it still would take a year. But I was much more interested in him after meeting the guy. This is a guy that's got his life back on track, and he plays nasty.